And we've been highlighting a couple optimistic reports here on the retail front, as well as the optimism on the drug front and battling the coronavirus out of that trial out of the University of Oxford, as researchers say. They found a groundbreaking new treatment option for patients in rough shape. But when we look at the home building front, there's just some shocking data to get into there. Another report showing that the V-shaped recovery may in fact be ongoing. Builder confidence in the market for newly built single homes jumped 21 points to 58 in June, according to the latest National Association of Home Builders / Wells Fargo Housing Market Index report out this morning. That was the largest monthly increase we have seen since that report has been coming out. And remember, any reading above 50 indicates a positive market. And in April, we saw a record plunge of 42 points to a reading of 30. So I guess if you got a record report on the downside, maybe you should expect a record report on the upside. But does that mean we're in the clear? Here to chat with us on that is the CEO of the National Association of Home Builders, Jerry Howard, joins us once more. And Jerry, good to see you again. I guess, is it that simple? Is this a V-shaped recovery now finally in the clear?
I got to tell you, our economists had predicted that we would have a V-shaped recovery in housing, and it sure looks like we're well on our way right now. Absolutely, Zach.
And when we look at how that sentiment has come to fruition here, of course, it's being led by a couple different markets. We've noted before, last time you were on, that the Northeast was still pretty muted in its recovery, since it was one of those states that has been, New York being one of the hardest hit states, but the other areas also instituting lockdowns as well. So what's your take on where we've seen the strongest recoveries and how it could mean that this could still be fueled by a strengthening recovery in the Northeast?
Well, we are seeing the strongest recoveries in the areas where housing was strongest before the COVID disaster hit us, namely the Southeast, Texas, the Rocky Mountain states led by Idaho. Those are very, very strong, very positive. The Northeast, though, I got to tell you, while it's still lagging behind, that number jumped from 14 last month all the way to 48. So the Northeast is almost seeing a positive market in itself, which is very, very good news. The Northeastern states are among the most difficult to build in for any number of reasons. So we're very, very bullish right now.
And when we look into that bullish sentiment, I mean, there's other components that you guys break out. You can look at the other ones. Current sales conditions jumping 21 points to 63. Sales expectations of the next 6 months also rising 22 points. Buyer traffic more than doubling from May to June, from 22 to 43. So when you put all those components together, what's your take on maybe the relative strengths and weaknesses in those components of the home builder sentiment?
Well, when you look at buyer and traffic coming in, you're in the springtime, you're in what is traditionally the home buying season. When you couple that with the fact that a lot of people have had to suffer through quarantines in very tight quarters, people are looking to, some get into their first single family house, others a bigger house. I think those are very, very solid. The fact that Mr. Powell today said that they're not going to raise interest rates, maybe through all of next year, is a very positive take for people looking to buy a house. The only possible headwinds we're seeing right now could be a disruption in the supply chain because of the COVID virus. But even that seems like it's going to be much less of a problem than we'd anticipated. We were headed for a very, very strong year before the COVID, and it looks like we're bouncing back, and we're going to be leading the economy out of this recession.
Yeah, when you say leading the economy out of the recession, it's very interesting because, as you're highlighting, home building very seasonal in what issues they have to deal with. And when it comes to the risks of a rebound in cases come fall, how might that actually not be such a big problem if you think about building in the winter around the country? Are there maybe muted risks for that if we do see a spike in cases?
Well, obviously, if there is a rebound or a second wave of corona, it'll depend on how bad it is. I mean, if we get locked down for several more months and the supply chain truly gets disrupted, what we'd be most worried about is how it will impact us going into next spring's building season. Because you're right, things do slow down significantly in the winter, particularly, obviously, across the northern tier.
All right. Well, nonetheless, for right now, seeing a very strong bounce back there in terms of sentiment, but appreciate it. National Association of Home Builders CEO Jerry Howard, thanks again for chatting with us.
Thanks, Zach. See you soon.
Hey investors, Zack Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.